Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, text number 16 onwards. So the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra being narrated by Shukra Goswami. Badho Dadho Raghupatir Vividhadri Kuta Setum Kapindra Kar Kampit Bhuru Bhuru Hanga Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukher Nika Lankam Vibhishan Drisha Vishad Gridagdham. Shukdev Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramchandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishan, Ravan's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers, headed by Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, entered Ravan's kingdom, Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. So further, the pastimes of Lord Ram are being mentioned. Purport. Great mountain peaks covered with trees and plants were thrown into the sea by the monkey soldiers and began to float by the supreme will of the Lord. By the supreme will of the Lord, many great planets flow weightlessly in space like the swabs of cotton. If this is possible, why should great mountain peaks not be able to float on water? This is the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything and everything he likes because he is not under the control of the material nature. Indeed, material nature is controlled by him. Maya Dhyakshen Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Only under his direction does Prakriti or material nature work. Similar information is given in Brahma Samhita. Yasyagya Brahmati Samvrita Kala Chakra. Describing how material nature works, the Brahma Samhita says that the sun moves as desired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, for Lord Ramchandra to construct a bridge over the Indian Ocean with the help of monkey soldiers who threw great mountain peaks into the water is not at all wonderful. It is wonderful only in the sense that it has kept the name and fame of Lord Ramchandra eternally celebrated. So what was so difficult for Ram to construct this bridge? Nothing difficult at all. But politicians, just to get some cheap votes or cheap adoration of public or cheap popularity, they'll say, oh, Lord Ram, how he was not even God and how did he construct the bridge? He didn't have civil engineering degree. Lord Ram doesn't need any degree. Monkeys didn't need any degree to construct the bridge. And they threw great mountain peaks, not just the rocks. They threw great mountain peaks into the ocean. So they must have carried it, first of all, brought it to the ocean, threw it in the ocean, and it floated. That is the beauty of the pastimes of the Lord. So if we try to understand these pastimes by our own tiny little brains and little puny intelligence, we cannot understand. Lord Ram can do, Hanumanji can, through by the help of Hanumanji and all the monkey soldiers, he can do wonderful activities. All we have to do is, with faith, read and hear these pastimes and get purified. Develop love for Ram, develop love for Krishna. That's it. Savanarendra Balruddha Vihara Koshtha Shridwar Gopur Sadoval Bhi Vitanka Nirvajyamana Tishana Dhvajam Dhvajahenu Kumpa Shringa Taka Gaj Kuler Hridiniv Bhurana. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by chiefs like Sugriv, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. So this is what the monkeys did. There is such a beautiful city created by Vishwakarma ji for the pleasure of Ravana. And everything was made of solid gold, not just gold plated, it was made of solid gold, and it was completely destroyed by the monkey soldiers. And the bridge that was constructed by Ram, it is said it was 800 miles long and 80 miles wide. Such a huge bridge. And it was constructed within few days. It didn't take them too long. And when the monkey army crossed over with Ram, the first batch when they went there, and they laid the siege around Lanka, all around Lanka, the monkey army was there. And Vibhishan went to Ravan. It was before Vibhishan was kicked out of the palace. And Vibhishan said, one monkey, just one monkey came, Hanumanji, and he destroyed the whole Lanka. He burned it down and he destroyed your Ashok Vatika and so many places. And you know how many monkeys are there in the army of Ram? And Ravana asked, how many monkeys are there? He said, look outside the window. There are monkeys all around Lanka. Everywhere you see monkeys. And there are monkeys on the bridge. They're still coming. And there are so many more monkeys even behind them. They're ready to cross over. We can't even imagine how many monkeys were there to help Ram fight with Ram. And this is what Vibhishan telling, you cannot win this war. There's no way. And Ravan was like, no, all the monkeys are not that powerful as Hanuman, and what can these monkeys do to me? But these are the monkeys who defeated all these great, big Rakshasas. And the monkeys, they didn't even have any weapons. All they had was their claws, their teeth, and they would pick up any rocks and throw at the Rakshasas. They climb on the trees and they climb on the Rakshasas and bite them and run away. This is how they fought. But because they were in the army of Ram, they became victorious. And they served Ram. They just wanted to serve Ram, whichever way possible. And so many monkeys, such a huge army was there. Text 18. Raksha patistadavaloke nikumba kumbha dhumdaksha durmukha surant kanarant kadin putram prahastamati kaya vikampanadin sarvanugan samhitno dat kumbhakaranam. When Ravan, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumbha, Kumbha, Dhumraksha, Durmukha, Surantak, Nirantak, and other Rakshasas, and also his own son, Indrajit. Thereafter, he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vingamban, and finally Kumbhakaran. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. Text 19. Lord Ramchandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers like Sugriv, Hanuman, Gandhamad, Nila, Angad, Jamvan, and Panas, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons like swords, lances, bows, prashas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khadgas, and tomaras. Tenikapa Raghupatir Avipatya Sarve Dvandvam Varutha Vrutham Ibh Patir Thashva Yoda Jagnuru Drumer Girig Deshu Bhir Ganga Dadya Sita Bhimarsha Hat Mangal Ravanesha. Angad and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Lord Ramchandra killed Ravana's soldiers who had lost all good fortune because Ravan had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. The soldiers Lord Ramchandra recruited in the jungle were all monkeys and did not have proper equipment with which to fight the soldiers of Ravan. For Ravan, the soldiers were equipped with weapons of modern warfare, whereas the monkeys could only throw stones, mountain peaks, and trees. It was only Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman who shot some arrows. But because the soldiers of Ravan were condemned by the curse of Mother Sita, the monkeys were able to kill them simply by throwing stones and trees. There are two kinds of strength, Deva and Purushaka. Deva refers to the strength achieved from the transcendence, and Purushaka refers to strength organized by one's own intelligence and power. Transcendental power is always superior to the power of the materialist. Depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight against one's enemies, even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. Therefore, Krishna instructed Arjun, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha, think of me and fight. We should fight our enemy to the best of our ability, but for victory, we must depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. And those who do so, they are always victorious. Even Sanjay said in Bhagavad Gita, last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjun, the Dhananjaya, and there lies the victory, the morality, the opulence, everything lies over there. Because Lord is there, his devotees are there, nobody can defeat them. Nobody. So same thing here, Lord Ram is there and he had just the monkey soldiers. And Prabhupada said only Ram and Lakshman had some arrows, some weapons. Otherwise, other monkeys, they didn't have any weapons. But still, they were victorious. And Rakshasas, they had the best of the weapons. But they got defeated. Also because of the curse of Mother Sita. Thereafter, when Ravan, the king of the Rakshasas, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Then he mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded toward Lord Ramchandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravan struck Ramchandra with sharp arrows. Ramastamah Purushad Purisha Yannaha Kanta Samakshan Sataprah Pahrita Shvavatte Tyakta Tatra Pasya Falamadya Jugupsitasya Yachami Kal Eva Kartur Langhya Virya. Lord Ramchandra said to Ravan, "You're the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you're like this too. You resemble a dog, for as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder. In my absence, you kidnapped my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You're most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you." So Ram was so angry at Ram. Nacha Devat Param Balam. No one can surpass the strength of the transcendence. Ravan was so sinful and shameless that he did not know what the result would be of kidnapping Mother Sita, the pleasure potency of Ramchandra. This is the disqualification of the Rakshasas. Asatyam pratishtante jagat ahur anishvara. The Rakshasas are unaware that the Supreme Lord is the ruler of the creation. They think that everything has come about by chance or accident. and that there is no ruler, king, or controller. Therefore, the Rakshasas act independently, as they like, going even so far as to kidnap the goddess of fortune. This policy of Ravana is extremely dangerous for the materialist. Indeed, it brings ruin to the materialistic civilization. Nonetheless, because atheists are Rakshasas, they dare to do things that are most abominable. And thus they are punished without fail. Religion consists of the orders of the Supreme Lord, and one who carries out these orders is religious. One who fails to carry out the Lord's orders is irreligious, and he is to be punished. So this is a demonic mentality. Like Ravan did, he kidnapped Mother Sita and he wanted to enjoy Sita. Who's the pleasure potency of Rama? She's not the for to give pleasure to Rama. But this is demonic mentality. Demonic mentality is what? I am the enjoyer. I am the controller. I am the proprietor. And this is what people are doing all over the world, even right now. This is all demonic mentality. We take over some property, we buy so much of stuff. We make money. Of course, we can say we work hard to make money, but we have to understand it all belongs to the Supreme Lord. He gave us the intelligence by which we can make money. He gave us the bodily strength by which we can make money. So everything actually belongs to him. Mother Sita belongs to Ram, not to Ram. And when Ravan tried to enjoy Mother Sita, first kidnap and try to enjoy it, the whole dynasty of Rakshasas are finished. So same thing happens with us, the little demons. We take over some property, we buy some property, we buy some things, and we think I'm the enjoyer of this property. Rather, devotee should be like Hanumanji. Hanumanji wanted to bring Sita to make her united with Ram. He never claimed anything is his property. He enjoyed everything in Ayodhya afterwards. With all the devotees, with Ram, he was in the palace. But his mentality was to serve Ram and Sita and the other devotees. Ravan mentality, he was in the palace, he was in the gold palace. His mentality was to, I want to be the enjoyer, I own Sita, he got killed. Everything was finished. So we just have to develop the right mentality. Not just develop, actually, this is not an artificial development. This is a real constitutional consciousness that we have to purify, or we have to remove the covering of material desires, lusty desires. That's all. So bhakti yoga process helps us in this way. We want to remove that covering. But Rakshasas, Ravan, demons, which basically is 99% of the population today. And this is our mentality. Lord Ram killed the demons, Krishna killed the demons, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he killed the demonic consciousness. He transformed the consciousness to the right consciousness. So this is our process. By first of all engaging ourselves in devotion service and trying to preach to others to engage them in devotion service. That's the only way we can change the consciousness. Evam kshipam dhanushi sandritam uttasasarja banam savrajam yutadhridayam bhavera swasrigvaman dashmukharanya patadvimana daheti jalpati jane sukriti riktaha. After this rebuking Ravan, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow to his bow, aimed at Ravan, and released the arrow, which pierced Ravan's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravan's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened? As Ravan, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Kshena Punya Murte Loka Mishanti. When the results of the pious activities are exhausted, those who have enjoyed in the heavenly planets fall again to earth. The fruitive activities of this material world are such that whether one acts piously or impiously, one must remain within the material world according to different conditions. But neither pious nor impious actions can relieve one from Maya's clutches of repeated birth and death. Somehow or other, Ravan was raised to an exalted position as a king of a great kingdom with all material opulences. And because of his sinful act of kidnapping Mother Sita, all the results of his pious activities were destroyed. So this was such a big sin he committed, or a big offense he committed against Mother Sita. Even when he kidnapped Sita, Sita ji was there in his kingdom in the Ashok Vatika. He could have gone there to serve Mother Sita, and Ram would have just let him go, let him live, because he had become a devotee. But no, he was a demon. So same thing happens with all the demons. The Lord very mercifully gives them a chance to have an association of devotee and rectify their mistakes. But rather, they end up committing offenses against devotees. Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj, such an exalted devotee. And he was son of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had all the opportunity in the world to associate with Prahlad Maharaj, to learn from him, Bhagavad. But rather, he wanted to kill Prahlad. In the process, he himself got killed. Kansa had a chance to serve Devaki and Vasudeva, Krishna's parents. Even though he had put them in the prison house, he still had a chance to serve them, but he did not. He got killed. So the demons are always given a chance to serve the devotees. Why they don't? If one offends an exalted personality, especially the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one certainly becomes most abominable. Bereft of the results of pious activities, one must fall down like Ravan and other demons. It is therefore advised that one transcend both pious and impious activities and remain in the pure state of freedom from all designations. When one is fixed in devotion service, he is above the material platform. On the material platform, there are higher and lower positions. But when one is above the material platform, he is always fixed in a spiritual position. Ravan or those like him may be very powerful and opulent in this material world, but theirs is not a secure position because, after all, they're bound by the results of their karma. Karmana deva netarena. We should not forget that we are completely dependent on the laws of nature. Prakriti kriyamana, the bewildered soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. One should not be proud of one's exalted position and act like Ravan, thinking oneself independent of material nature's laws. So when one is in devotional service, he is above the material platform. So gunam santityatam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So that is the position we want to be at, not remain in the material modes of nature and commit pious and impious activities and again take birth and maybe go to heaven and come back again. That's again go through birth, death, old age, disease, cycle of aditya, gati, 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 atmic, klesha, miseries. Why go through all this? Just get out of it. And that's why it is said, don't get into pious and pious activities. Just do bhakti, devotion service, which is beyond even the mode of goodness. Tato nishkamya lankaya yatu dhanya sahasrasha mandordaya samam tatra prarudante upadravam. Thereafter, all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, came out of Lanka. Continuously crying, they approached the dead bodies of Ravan and the other Rakshasas. Striking their breasts in affliction because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman, the women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you are called Ravan. But now that you have been defeated, we are also defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? Ravan's wife Mandodari and the other wives knew very well how cruel a person Ravan was. The very word Ravan means one who causes crying for others. Ravan continuously caused trouble for others, but when his sinful activities culminated in giving trouble to Sita Devi, he was killed by Lord Ramchandra. So every demon, every Rakshas has his last day. But when they are committing all these atrocities on others, they don't remember, they don't understand, they don't think. But ultimately, it's the Lord and his devotees who are always victorious. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, like as just in Chaitanya Charitamrita, as it is mentioned that Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Haya. So, like now that you have given the example of Kamsa and then Ravana, so and Hiranyakashipu. So, like irrespective of having a sadhu sangha as well, so how like they could not transform their heart? Like, is it because if one do not want to purify their heart, then even if they are in the association of sadhu sangha, then they won't be able to transform their heart?
See, they didn't take the association. They were in the proximity of Vaishnavas, but they didn't take the association. That was a problem. Association means when we go and try to learn something from sadhus. Not just sitting together or watching TV together, we think we are associating. No.
Okay, that is what. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
If there
so
is
many people came in touch with Srila Prabhupada, but they didn't become devotees. Those who really took association, they became devotees.
Correct, true, Prabhuji. And also about Ravana and his wife. So his wife was really a pure lady, and she was praying for his husband. Also, she knew that his intention and his activities are totally like against the scriptural injunctions. But still, out of attachment and love for her husband, she was praying for her husband. So now, like, how much a sincere devotee's prayer goes for a person who is really very inimical towards Lord's devotee and Lord's? Does it really work? Or if the person has that animosity in the heart, then that even if somebody is praying for themselves, they won't be able to, the prayers won't be helpful for them.
Prayers are always helpful, but it's a person who has a demonic mentality. He has to work on himself. Prayers help to bring the association or bring the person in contact, but the person himself has to work.
So ultimately, what I have understood is it's all our own endeavor. Unless and until we do not put an effort, nothing comes just like that, or nothing will happen just like that.
Yeah, yeah. Prayers help. They definitely help, but ultimately we have to work ourselves. If somebody prays for me that with a prayer should be able to chant better, but if I don't sit down and pick up my beads and start chanting properly, how good it's going to be.
Yes, Prabhuji, very true. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
Prabhuji, I was just visualizing, though Ravana was a great, I think so, knowledgeable person in terms of knowing all the Vedas and everything. So, and Lord Shiva's devotee. So, I'm thinking so much, you can say, this prayers he did or havanas he did, and Lord Shiva's devotee, then why not got the mercy? Because the sin was higher than that the prayers. और मेरा मतलब ये मानना है कि उनके भाई जो कि राम के भक्त थे, और भाई ने भी समझाने की कोशिश करी, हालांकि उन्होंने चाहा भी कि वो मतलब सारा वंश खत्म ना हो, बट स्टिल मतलब उनकी जो सिन थे वो ज्यादा थे इन कंपैरिजन ऑफ उन्होंने जो भी धर्म कर्म किए और जो अच्छे कर्म किए. तो मैं वही इमेजिन कर रहा हूँ कि मतलब कैसा सिन होगा उनका कि जिसके कारण उनको जो है वो ये जघन्य एक तो अपराध किया उन्होंने, और उस अपराध के कारण उनको मोक्ष मिला, हालांकि उन्होंने शायद मोक्ष मांगा होगा भगवान के हाथों, तो शायद ये लीला रची होगी प्रभु ने. तो मैं वही इमेजिन कर रहा हूँ कि मतलब इतना तप तपस्या करने वाला व्यक्ति भी मतलब वो नहीं सोच पा रहा कि मेरा विनाश है.
बिकॉज उसने जो उन्होंने जो तपस्या की, जो भी शिव जी को भी प्रसन्न किया, उससे पहले ब्रह्मा जी को भी किया था एक्चुअली. उन्हें ब्रह्मा जी से भी बहुत वरदान मिले थे, पर उन्होंने भक्ति नहीं की थी. कर्म कांड करना अलग चीज है, वो मतलब पायस पुण्य कर्म है, भक्ति नहीं है. वो पुण्य कर्म करने से, तपस्या करने से हृदय की शुद्धता नहीं आती है. मतलब भगवान के प्रति समर्पण, भगवान की भक्ति और कर्म, अच्छे कर्म, या मतलब भगवान की भक्ति जो कर रहा है वो खराब कर्म तो करेगा नहीं. जो कर्म कांड है वो दोनों अलग अलग है, बहुत अलग, बहुत फर्क है. और उससे कर्म कांड से भी हृदय नहीं शुद्ध होता है. मतलब शुद्ध होना मतलब ये नहीं आता कि मैं एंजॉयर नहीं हूं, भगवान ही एंजॉयर है, भगवान ही कंट्रोलर है. और उसने जब कर्म कांड किए, तपस्या की, उससे क्या हुआ? उससे जो वरदान मांगे किस लिए मांगे? कि मैं और शक्तिशाली बन जाऊं, मैं और ज्यादा कंट्रोल कर सकूं, मेरे को ये सिद्धि मिल जाए, वो सिद्धि मिल जाए, सब कुछ हो. क्या? ताकि मैं और एंजॉय कर सकूं. तो भगवान का भक्त मांगता है, भगवान आप ही एंजॉयर हो, मैं तो सर्व आपका दास हूं. विभीषण ने भगवान की भक्ति मांगी ब्रह्मा जी से जब उन्होंने तपस्या की, और रावण ने ये सब मांगा, कुंभकर्ण ने मांगा, शूर्पणखा ने भी बहुत सारी चीजें मांगी. तो विभीषण ने सिर्फ भगवान की भक्ति मांगी. और वही विभीषण जब भगवान राम की शरण में जाते हैं, रावण उनको निकाल देता है, विभीषण भगवान राम की शरण में जाते हैं, भगवान को प्रणाम करते हैं, भगवान के शिविर में जाते हैं, प्रणाम करते हैं, और भगवान क्या कहते हैं? आओ लंकेश. सारे हैरान, ये लंकेश तो रावण है. बट इट वॉज क्लियर कि राम ने बना लिया मूड के रावण को मारेंगे और विभीषण को लंका करा के बनाएंगे. तो विभीषण ने तो क्या किया? भगवान की भक्ति की, भगवान ने उनको लंका का राजा बना दिया. यू एंजॉय, यू बिकम द किंग. ये फर्क है भक्ति में और कर्म का. बहुत बड़ा फर्क है।
यस प्रभु जी।
तो हमें इसलिए प्रभुपाद ने, महाप्रभु की कृपा से हमें भक्ति के मार्ग पे लगाया, कर्म कांड के मार्ग पे नहीं। ऑफ कोर्स जो कर रहे हैं वो भी ठीक है, कम से कम वेदास को फॉलो तो कर रहे हैं, बट अल्टीमेट नहीं है, दैट्स ऑल।
थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
ठीक है, थैंक यू। चलो, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
हरे कृष्ण, जय श्री
हरे
कृष्ण।
कृष्णा।